If you're doing all the right things with your money, saving more, spending less, staying consistent, but your financial progress still feels slow, this video is for you. Because here's the frustrating truth no one explains clearly enough. Financial growth almost always feels invisible while it's working. And that disconnect between effort and results, between what you're doing and what you feel back, is why so many people feel stuck financially, even when they're actually building long-term wealth behind the scenes. In this video, I'm going to explain why slow financial progress is not a sign you're failing. It's often a sign your money habits and financial discipline are finally working the way they're supposed to. We'll break down the psychology, the math, and the systems behind why wealth building feels painfully slow at first, and why that slowness isn't a flaw in the process, it's actually the whole point. Before we go any further, if you want calm, realistic explanations about money, not hype or pressure, hit the subscribe button now. This channel is about building financial confidence over time, reducing money anxiety instead of feeding it, and creating sustainable financial habits that actually last in real life. Why slow progress feels so wrong. Here's what most people never hear explained clearly. We don't measure financial progress logically. We measure it emotionally. We expect relief when we save, motivation when we invest, confidence when we budget. But early financial growth doesn't give emotional feedback. It doesn't reward you with excitement or validation. Instead, it removes chaos quietly. You don't wake up one day feeling wealthy. You wake up feeling slightly calmer, less reactive, less panicked about small decisions. And because that shift is subtle, people miss it. They assume nothing is happening. They assume they're behind. But something is happening. Your financial system is stabilizing. Your decisions are getting cleaner. And stability always comes before growth. Invisible progress is still progress. Invisible progress feels unfair, because effort usually comes with payoff, and we're conditioned to expect that payoff to be obvious. But in money, the payoff is often quieter. Fewer emergencies, smaller mistakes, less urgency when things go wrong. That doesn't feel like success. It feels like normal. But normal is exactly what most people never reach. When your finances stop constantly demanding attention, when money stops hijacking your focus every day, that's not stagnation. That's control. And control is the foundation of every form of real wealth. The psychology of delayed gratification. Delayed gratification isn't just about waiting longer. It's about acting without emotional reward. Saving money feels like loss in the moment. Not spending feels restrictive. Investing feels pointless early on because nothing seems to happen. That's why discipline alone isn't enough. You need a personal finance mindset that understands this phase. A mindset that says, this feels slow because it's working under the surface, not because it's broken. Most people quit right before this mindset locks in, not because they failed, but because no one ever told them what this phase actually feels like when you're doing it right. Pause for a moment. Quick pause here, and I want you to really think about this. If someone erased your bank balance, your investment accounts, and your net worth, and all you had left was how you think about money, how you react emotionally under pressure, and how consistently you make decisions, would you rebuild faster than you would have 5 years ago? Would you make fewer mistakes? Would you panic less? If the answer is yes, then your financial progress isn't slow. It's just not visible yet. Why boring systems win. Here's a truth that rarely gets said out loud. If your financial strategy feels exciting, it's probably fragile. Excitement comes from uncertainty. Stability comes from repetition. Boring but effective systems don't rely on motivation. They don't require constant decision-making. They don't reward emotion or impulse. They reward consistency over time. That's why they work quietly, and why they keep working when everything else falls apart. Compounding doesn't feel like anything, at first. The compounding effect is one of the most misunderstood forces in money. Early on, compounding feels useless. Later, it feels unfair. At first, the gains are small. The progress feels non-existent. The effort feels completely disproportionate to the results. This is where most people quit. But if you stay consistent, something changes. Not overnight, not dramatically, but gradually, momentum with money starts to build. And once momentum starts, it becomes easier to keep going than to stop. A quick check-in before we keep going. If this explanation is putting words to something you've felt but couldn't explain, make sure you're subscribed. This channel exists to help you build patience with money, reduce financial frustration, and stop confusing calm, steady progress with failure. Why you're probably doing it right. If you have better awareness of your spending, feel less reactive around money, and think more in systems than short-term outcomes, you are making progress. Even if your net worth hasn't exploded, even if your savings still feels modest, even if your growth feels slower than you expected. This is what realistic financial expectations look like. This is how long-term wealth is actually built, quietly, consistently, and without drama. Feeling behind is a false signal. One of the biggest traps in money is comparison. Social media makes it feel like everyone else is winning faster, everyone else has figured it out, everyone else is ahead of you. But what you're seeing is highlights, not systems. Most people with loud success don't have quiet stability, and stability is what keeps wealth intact. That's why wealth takes time, and that's why people who rush often lose it. The emotional payoff comes later. Here's the part no one warns you about. The emotional reward comes after the boring years. First comes discipline, then confidence, then peace. That's when financial confidence replaces anxiety. That's when decisions feel lighter. That's when money stops controlling your mood. That's the real reward, not numbers on a screen. Slow and steady is the strategy. Slow and steady wealth isn't weak. It's resilient. It survives market cycles. It survives job changes. It survives mistakes. Fast money is loud. Slow money is durable. And durable money is the kind that lasts. If your financial progress feels slow, that doesn't mean you're failing. It usually means you're finally doing it right. If this video helped reframe how you think about progress, hit subscribe. This channel exists to help you build wealth without panic, replace urgency with systems, and stop feeling behind when you're actually ahead. Slow progress isn't the problem. Misunderstanding progress is.